the real reason you're afraid to move forward. Fear of change is one of the most persistent and universal human reactions. We fear not only major life shifts, but also small adjustments, a different routine, new expectations, a new stage in a relationship, a new job, or even a simple conversation that could alter the dynamics of a familiar situation. This fear seems natural, but its roots go much deeper than uncertainty about the unknown. People often say we fear change because we cannot predict what will come next. Yet the more significant reason is different. Change wipes out our old excuses. It removes the ability to say, I would do it, but I can't because... In new conditions, that sentence no longer works. Change forces us to confront the truth. If opportunities have expanded, but actions haven't followed, the issue is not external circumstances, but internal resistance. And that moment of seeing oneself clearly is often the most painful. In this video, we will explore where the fear of change comes from, why it is so powerful, what mental mechanisms amplify it, and which pathways are available to a person who wants to step out from behind familiar narratives and take responsibility for their life. What we are really afraid of. Most people believe they are afraid of the new itself. New rules, new demands, new environments. But new conditions are rarely objectively harder than the old ones. The real issue is that change makes it impossible to continue an internal dialogue based on external excuses. When circumstances shift, the familiar justification disappears. Suddenly, it becomes obvious that the obstacle is not the situation, but the person's reluctance to take responsibility, their resistance to uncertainty, or their habit of hiding behind convenient explanations. Change exposes truth. And this truth often disrupts a long-constructed psychological safety system built on self-explanations and rationalizations. Inner resistance protects us from direct contact with reality. It appears as doubts, delays, endless planning, the search for the perfect moment, or the belief that we need more preparation. If opportunities have increased, but actions have not, resistance is at work. This is not about weak willpower. It is an active psychological mechanism designed to maintain a familiar worldview. Resistance says, wait, not now. Think it through again. What if it goes wrong? Behind each of these voices lies one question. Is the person ready to stop explaining their life through external circumstances? When excuses disappear, a person faces their own limitations directly. This can evoke shame, anxiety, anger, or a sense of emptiness. The true pain of change lies not in new tasks, but in confronting one's role in one's own life. Change breaks the illusion of having no choice. It reveals that choice existed all along. And acknowledging this is difficult, because recognizing freedom also reveals the extent of responsibility. Many of the so-called limitations turn out to be convenient stories, not real constraints. Accepting this demands honesty, and that honesty feels uncomfortable. Cognitive traps that amplify fear of change. Loss aversion. We fear losing what we already have more than we value potential gains. Illusion of control. The familiar feels safer, even when it isn't. Fixed identity. People cling to the image of who I am in this life, and change requires an identity update. Catastrophic forecasting. The mind defaults to worst-case scenarios. Selective memory. The past seems more stable than it actually was. These distortions create a distorted picture in which change looks dangerous, even when it may be the only path forward. Some people build highly stable environments around themselves, hoping for security. But when this stability is built on avoidance, it becomes a trap. A life designed so that nothing changes eventually stops developing. And the less development, the more anxiety grows. Paradoxically, the attempt to avoid change increases the fear of change. Stability built on avoidance does not provide freedom. It narrows life to the smallest possible space. How to break the cycle. 1. Acknowledge resistance. The first step is recognizing resistance without blaming circumstances. This requires honest observation and the willingness to notice avoidance patterns. 2. Identify personal narratives. Every person lives inside a set of stories. I don't have time. I'm not good enough. I can't. These stories are comfortable but limiting. The task is to identify which stories are shaping behavior. 3. Separate facts from interpretations. One of the key skills is distinguishing what is real from what is imagined. Fact: I received a new job offer. Interpretation: I will fail. This separation reduces fear. 4. Use small steps. Change does not require a dramatic leap. Small actions create a habit of movement and gradually weaken resistance. 5. Abandon the idea of the perfect moment. The perfect moment is an illusion. Action must precede full readiness. 6. Build tolerance for uncertainty. Uncertainty is unavoidable. The goal is to develop the capacity to endure it rather than escape it. 7. Rebuild identity. Change demands a revised self-concept. Not "I avoid the unknown," but "I can act within uncertainty." Change does not break a person. It reveals truth. And that truth is simple. There is a choice. Fear of change is not a sign of weakness. It signals that a person is standing at the boundary between an old narrative and a higher level of responsibility. The way out involves recognizing resistance, uncovering internal stories, taking small actions, and gradually accepting the freedom that comes with change. When a person stops hiding behind familiar narratives, change stops being a threat. It becomes a tool for growth and a way to reclaim authorship over one's own life. Stay with Mind Traps. The journey has just begun. Let's find the doorway out together.